This is a little video about lavender. And lavender is a plant that I feel really deeply connected to, and I'm super excited to share some magical things with you about her. And I wanted to start with a little story. So my mum and dad's garden is now an incredibly beautiful place. When I was growing up, we had pet rabbits, like a lot of pet rabbits and guinea pigs and ducks, and the garden was a right pickle. The animals had kind of taken over, and as we kind of lost the animals, and then as my dad took early retirement from a really stressful job, he took over the garden and kind of claimed it back from the rabbits and turned it into this beautiful haven. I feel like it was very much kind of nature therapy for him to go and create this amazing space. And when I got married in, I can't remember when it was, 2008? Yeah, I think it was 2008. It was May, but we got married in Norfolk, which is famous for lavender. And I had this idea in a very Sam way that a really cool thing to do to kind of tick a lot of things off the list, tick off the flowers on the tables, to also be the place markers and the gift that people can take home, would be for everyone to have a lavender plant with their name on it, and it would kind of tick all of those boxes. So my dad very amazingly got loads of lavender, put it in his conservatory, even though it was a bit too early for lavender really to be blossoming, and he tried to kind of like get it to flower. And then they looked amazing on the wedding tables, and lots of people took them home. And my dad took home any that were left over, and he planted them in the garden. And I took home my one and my husband's one, and I planted them in tubs in our garden, and I kept the labels on them, and my one died almost very quickly after that. And I don't know if that was important, I'm not sure. But I then got divorced in 2014, but the lavender still grows in my dad's garden, and it's flourishing. There is this kind of huge bit of lavender beds at the end of the garden that are just beautiful, and every year he trims the bushes and he gives me the lavender. And he started doing that really before I became obviously such a witchy person. So I'm not really sure if he still felt in some way that it was my lavender, or he just kind of thought, well, Sam's arty, she'll do something with it. So we've had these big bunches of lavender hanging around the house and drying like every year, and I've been making like little pillows and doing stuff with them. And then this year, as I've been on this kind of like health healing journey and getting braver with making my own teas and things, I started to put lavender in my tea from my dad's garden. And I just love the fact that that kind of connection. The particular lavender plants have become my medicine. They were at my wedding. So strange. And now I drink a little bit of lavender every day, and I love her. I think she's an incredibly supportive and powerful plant, and there's something like this extra layer that these particular plants are really special to me. So I'm super excited to share some lavender facts and some metaphysical stuff about lavender with you. Interestingly, along with rosemary, sage and basil, lavender is actually a part of the mint family, and you've got this kind of beautiful collection of very strongly scented plants. And lavender tends to be a kind of shrubby bush with silvery foliage and long stems and purple flowers. And it flowers generally here in the UK from July almost all the way up to September. It depends a lot on how sunny and warm it has been. It's a plant that's originally from the Mediterranean, the Middle East and India, so they do prefer sunny, warm and dry spots. But we do get some varieties that are hardy enough to survive a winter outside here in the UK. There are a multitude of different varieties of lavender, and the flowers in particular can vary quite a lot in colour, and they can have extra fiddly flowery bits on and things. They all have a similar fragrance. For herbal purposes, English lavender tends to be used. and it's not technically native, but it does really well here, and it's become a common plant in our gardens, and it provides food for bees and butterflies and beetles. So if you've got a patch of lavender, it's bound to be thronging with pollinators, which is really wonderful. They do a really important job, and it's a really supportive plant to have for them in the garden. And lavender has been around and been treasured by humans for thousands of years. The Romans were known to use it, and the name we use actually comes from the Latin to wash, lavare. So it's had this long association with cleansing. It's got this very strong smell that is very clean, and also associated with calming and soothing as well. So the essential oil that comes from the lavender plant is an incredibly powerful thing. It's antibacterial, antiseptic, it's calming, and it's anti-inflammatory. And there's just like so many different uses for this magical plant. But there's something that I love that I found out recently was that one of the terpenes found in lavender is also found in cannabis. I can't pronounce it, linalool. Anyway, that one, which has these really kind of soothing, calming, antidepressant, anti-anxiety, pain-killing properties. And it's just one of the active components in lavender. And it feels like at the moment we're only really just beginning to understand plants and plant medicine and all the ways that they work with and support the human body. So lavender oil is a really useful thing to have in a first aid kit. It can be really useful to put on burns. It's got a soothing, calming aspect to it, which is really useful in summer. So summer is a season of fire, and sometimes we can use support in balancing that beautiful fire with soothing, cooling energies. So lavender can help in a sort of metaphysical sense, just like cooling our fires. And as I said, it's useful for burns and scalds, and actually, lavender oil on the skin or lavender creams and things can help reduce inflammation and stuff as well. So there's this kind of one of those lovely moments when the metaphysical and the physical reflect each other and work together. One of the things that I love about that beautiful silvery foliage of the lavender plant is it is actually evergreen. So after we trim back the flowers, and after my dad prunes all the flowers off his lavender, you get a kind of beautiful pale silvery clumpy bush that stays all winter. And so we get some greenery in the garden even when the leaves are falling off everything else. So it kind of invites us to ponder our relationship with the seasons and know that there's a kind of, that some plants stay, that kind of constancy of evergreen plants is present in lavender as well. So lavender has kind of, again, physical and metaphysical associations with cleanliness and purification and protection. So it can deter moths and fleas and bed bugs, and little lavender sachets under your pillow can not only promote sleep and soothing, but also ward off biting bugs. And lavender stems can also be burnt like incense, which is lovely. And as we're kind of working with the energy of summer and Lammas and Lughnasadh, these are times of protection rituals too. So one Lammas ritual was to bless a loaf, cut it into 4 and bury the 4 corners in the grain storage barn or wherever you were storing it. And I feel like as we move into harvest time, protection rituals can be just a really good time for protection rituals right now. So as the wheel of the year just begins to turn towards the darker months, this can be an opportunity to ponder the things that we need to feel safe and protected, and the ways we can protect ourselves and our energy, and the ways that we can stay nurtured and nourished. This is a time of like charging ourselves up, ready to move into the darker months. And I feel like protection rituals, knowing how to be nourished and soothed, any self-care rituals are kind of protection rituals in a way, aren't they? They're definitely connected. The things we can do to help feel good and safe as we move into autumn and winter are really important. And I feel like lavender, with its beautiful blend of physical and metaphysical properties, can help with those things. This is really lovely as well. According to Culpepper's Herbal, lavender is associated with Mercury, air, and the sign Virgo. So there's this clarity and association with clear communication, organization, and the perfectionist side of Virgo seems to link really nicely into lavender's association with cleansing and clarity and protection. And I feel like the smell, when you smell lavender, it's got a very clearing quality to it as well, hasn't it? So this is the time of year when it's flowering, and there's a whole load of reasons why it might be nourishing and supportive and beneficial to plant some lavender, to work with lavender essential oils, or to drink some lavender tea and tune in to this really beautiful plant. I love that she might be a Virgo. I feel like she's kind of the friend that will come round and clean your cupboards and make you a cup of tea and help you organize something. She's nourishing and nurturing with this kind of clear, calm vibe, which is quite different to Rose, who has similar cooling properties and stuff, but maybe is a bit more motherly. Lavender is like the friend that comes around, the sister that turns up and has maybe a bit of like a bossy air, but is also really helpful. So there's an ebook based on my thoughts and research around lavender, so do dive into that. And there's also some ideas for how lavender can help you as we move through this moon, and some journal prompts from her as well. So enjoy learning a little bit more and building your own connection with this amazing plant.